Hey, I'm Rue. I'm an addict.
You've come a long way. Take your time. You're delicate.
I'm not delicate.
Yes, you are.
I've actually been really happy.
You've been clean for like 2 weeks, right?
Yes.
Bro, come here. Oh my God.
I've never met anyone like Jules.
How'd you survive that OD?
To my sister.
Just got me thinking about how it affects the rest of their lives, you know? Living with the fear that at any moment they could lose everything, especially the people that they love.
Ruth's just reaching for something to make it all seem meaningful.
If anyone ever tried to hurt you, I'd kill them.
You're like the sweetest guy ever. Most people, they're all just lost.
You made me feel like you weren't proud to be my boyfriend.
Give me symphonies, give me more than the light.
Oh, you look different.
What?
You look different?
I changed.
I'm not saying I'm in love. I'm just saying I really, really like him.
Every time I feel good, I think it'll last forever. But it doesn't.
Nothing in high school lasts forever.
You should meet her. Euphoria was the first script, I think, that I had, like, raced through. And there was just, like, an immediate, like, feeling. And I was like, I have to be a part of this.
It's a story that follows this group of kids trying to navigate the world today, and it's from their perspective. There is an incredible amount of judgment sort of levied against younger people for being on social media, and it's always sort of perceived as this sort of narcissistic pursuit. How do you navigate this world that's changing
Every
month
day.
to month?
Yeah.
And I think one of the biggest hurdles with this show is how do we create empathy for this generation in an older generation?
I'm very happy for you, Rue. You're about to start a brand new chapter.
Personally, writing about my own experiences and my battles with addiction as a teenager becomes therapeutic in a way.
This show can't be written by anyone else because it's so personal. I understand Rue, and for some reason, and I can't really describe it, but she doesn't feel like a huge departure from who I am,
Right.
which is you would think weird.
For someone who's never done drugs, it feels very real. I feel like I'm watching a version of myself navigating the world at a young age, and I'm looking at it from almost a parental perspective,
Right.
which is so strange and really moving.
I have this idea that basically all the characters are just like different facets of your personality.
On many levels, and particularly Rue's journey and Jules's. There is this consistent anxiety that I think exists in this generation. That, I think, informed, the whole filmmaking process, just the way in which we were going to light the night exteriors, the use of close-ups feel surreal. It harkens back, I think, to that feeling of when you're young and you're alone on a street, that the world feels so much bigger than you.
I think another thing that's important to mention also is like the rhythm of the show. It's always something is happening, like it's ever moving.
There's this push and pull of it that becomes so exciting. You're going like, how can we push this? How can we take this further? The biggest challenge in making anything that deals with, I think, tough subjects in teenagers in general is wanting to be sort of open about the drugs and sex.
In not a shock value kind of way, you know what I mean?
And I think that there's a real responsibility that any artist has to grapple with, the highs, the lows, the joy, the pain, and the trauma, if they're gonna put it on
camera,
screen.
yeah. There's so many people in this show to care about.
It's what excited me was the psychological exploration and finding the love and the empathy for the characters. There's a hopefulness to it.
I had made a new best friend, and for the first time since getting out of rehab, I was feeling good about the world.
I think what we wanted to create was telling a story that's realistic and authentic. And I think that it's hard to bear it alone, deal with depression and anxiety, and being able to form friendships and be honest with about who you are as a person, have the ability, I think, to change your life.
It's somebody's story, and that's what, we're really here to do, is tell people's story. Whoever needs to connect with it or see it or watch it will find their way to it. And I think that's the most beautiful thing about this show.